And for the number 10 position, I am giving this to the PMP Portable Game Player. The reason why I am giving this to this player is because it's just a really neat piece of hardware. It didn't came with a lot of great games, a lot of repeated games, so in overall it was not the best portable system if you want to have a lot of games, but I must say the emulation was not bad at all. It was really compact, the little display was not bad, and yeah, that is why I'm giving this the spot number 10. I think it's a little bit of a bummer they don't make many of these little portable systems, and yeah, for what you're going to see here is a series what you're going to get. I have a big support of GBA, Sega games, and yeah, check out the full review if you're interested in the product. I really loved it. It's very hard to find on Chinese web shops because they are not promoting it. I think it's a really old piece of hardware, but still, for this money, I am loving it, and I'm giving it number 10 position. And for the number 9 position in this top 10 ranking, I have chosen the PS Vita knockoff. And the reason why, not because it's the Vita knockoff, no. If I look in overall what this system was bringing us, and don't forget, and this is very important, that this was one of the first console I've reviewed for the channel, and it is really old now. It was running on this weird software that was booting up with this Tekken pictures. I've seen it very often. It was a very nice system if it comes to the build quality and the screen itself. It did have a very wide support of games like NES, GBA, arcade, you name it. The emulation was pretty damn poor and not a lot of systems were running perfect like they should be, but most of the systems were playing. So it's a really old system, and they have proved a lot. But this thing deserves the number 9 spot in my little ranking. And for the number 8 I have chosen the PSP knockoff. But this is not the first generation like the PS Vita knockoff. No, this was the second generation if I'm correct. This one came with a bigger and the touchscreen, so that was pretty neat. But the touchscreen itself was not that great. It had this wide support of multi-platform, but it also supported PlayStation 1. All of the games were not running like they should be. They were running good, but for example the PlayStation 1 did have a lack of support of 3D graphical games, because a lot of games were not even booting up or just glitching or having a very low frame rate. The 2D platform games were working just fine most of the time. But yeah, and overall, it's a very fun product and the emulation was very good. So that is the reason why this one is getting my number 8 spot in my personal top 10 collection. And for the number 7 position, I have chosen the X16 portable system. It got a really horrible D-pad, but the 7-inch screen gives this gaming experience next level. I think they were more aiming for the Nintendo Switch because it got the freaking size of it. But yeah, the view angle of the screen was not the best. The software, it was running on the old PS Vita software, because we are getting this old school Tekken intro. They did a little changes in the main menu, but then overall, the support of the game was exactly the same. It got, let's say, a good support of multi-platform systems, but the games were not running like they should be. So the overall design, the big screen, it's really fun, it's really awesome, and that is the reason why I'm getting a little spot in my personal top 10, and I'm giving this the number 7 position. And for the number 6 position, I have chosen the Telex U-Like. The reason why is very simple. The build quality, no, that was not it, because it was very poorly made. But keep in mind, it was one of the first generation of Chinese multi-platform systems. The software there was getting it really interesting. It's running on Android, a little bit of bummer because it was Android 4 and nowadays it's pretty prehistoric if you ask me. The screen itself was small, colorful and it got a touchscreen, so that is really cool. The sound itself, this one was packed up with two little speakers, so we have stereo sound. That is something you don't see very often with these knockoff systems. The support of games, it got a very wide support, but I must say, not all the games were running just great. So, in overall, it is a very nice system and that's the reason why I'm getting the number 6 in my personal list. And for the number 5 position, I have chosen the Popke family. And the reason I'm saying the Popke family, because we got the game Popke 2 and number 3 and even the number 3 Plus. But basically they are all the same portable system, only they swapped out the shell. So that is the reason why I'm putting them all on this position. I must say I'm very pleased with the Popke family. The games run good. It got a very nice support of games like all the other systems. Only they did it a little bit better. The games were all running a little bit better. So that's the reason why this one is higher up in the list. It did have some amazing screen with some good view angle. So I think the Popke family is a very good value for your money. And yeah, it is a little bit limited to adjusting things and for say the emulation programs and etc. So that is the reason it's still high up in the ranking, but it is not my number 1. And for the number 4 position, I'm giving this one to the RS97 Pro from funnyplaying.com. And in short, I will tell you why. The build quality of the system itself was very good. It got a very nice D-pad and the buttons got a great response. So the system is running on the software OpenDingux, and this means it's open source and you can do whatever you want. The screen itself is a little bit smaller if you compare it with other brands, but it is very colorful and the view angle was the sound and the speaker of this little portable system was a big improvement if you look to other. And if we are looking at the support of emulation programs, because of the big community behind this OpenDingux software, we have a big and wide support of emulation programs. But on this system a lot of games were running very good. So this is the reason why I am giving this number 4 spot to the RS97 Pro from funnyplaying.com. So for the number 3 position, I have chosen this Spotroid Android 7-inch gaming tablet. I think the design is very awesome. It got a good build quality. The software itself, it's running on Android 4, so it's a little bit old, but gives you the freedom to add and remove games. The screen itself, it's 7-inch, so it's pretty damn big. It's very responsive if you look at the touchscreen, and that is something that you don't see very often on these cheap devices. The view angle is good, but not the best. The sound is a little bit of a bummer because it's only using one or mono speaker. So it can give you a little bit weird music if you're listening to stereo sound or stereo video game soundtracks. The support of games, it is a wide support of games because it's Android. It comes with some pre-installed emulators, but these are very old and have a very poor support. But yeah, nevertheless you can add your own emulators if you want. The games itself, yeah, it's depending a little bit what kind of emulators you're using. But yeah, Android 4, it's not the newest version of Android, but I think the support of games can be very good. And for the number 2 position, I am giving it to the Gameboy Pi. The Pi comes in different forms, but in this video I am putting the Game Boy Classic or the Game Boy Pi in the number 2 position. This is childhood memories, the old Game Boy with the Pi inside. I really love the build quality. It got a very nice D-pad and the button got a very good response. So this is running on the RetroPie software and gives you a little bit of the freedom to do whatever you want with it. To add new programs, add new games, or just remove them if you don't like them. The system has an EPS LCD screen that is very clear and very brightful. And that makes this gaming experience next level. The sound is very nice. It only has a mono speaker, but the sound is very loud and very clear. The support of games is very wide and the games that are running on the system are running very well. And that is what you're missing out with the cheap-ass systems a lot of times. Keep in mind this thing is running on the Raspberry Pi 3B. If you're having the 3B Plus version, it even has wider support of emulators and other programs. The game emulation is quite good, and if compared with cheaper systems that have a lot of problems with glitching and even frame drops or frame skipping, the Gameboy Pi is running all of these games very smooth and gives you the real experience you need to have with these old games. And for the number one, I am choosing the GPD Android. And in short, why it is. First of all, the build quality of the system. This is one of the best build quality systems I have seen. The buttons feel very high quality and some of them have even micro switches behind them. The screen itself is a very beautiful 5-inch EPS screen. The old and the new version both got them and both love them. All the systems are provided with stereo sound with two very high quality speakers. Both GPD systems come with pre-installed programs, but because it's Android you can add whatever you want. If you look to all the old games and the little bit newer generation, on this powerful GPD all of the games are running very well. This concludes this top 10 personal list of all of the handhelds of 2018. Let me know what do you think of it. Keep one in mind, this is not only what I think is my personal favorite. I am looking at the build quality, software, screen, sound, supportive games and the game emulation. I am personally a big fan of the Game Boy Pi, but the reason why I chose the GPD to be the number one is quite simple. It's an Android, and besides playing games with it, you can do so many great things with an Android device. So that is the reason why it is my number one. So let me know what do you think of this top 10 and what are your favorite portable systems. I really love to see it in the comments. I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell because you get notified for upcoming videos and see you next time. Bye bye.